I'm about to crash. But anyway, I'm trying to make it back to my resort, doing a little vlog. Hope you guys enjoy my videos. Hey, today's video is a walking and biking tour of the Nusa Dua Beach area in Bali, Indonesia. Another beach is Geiger Beach. I don't know if I said that right, but it's about a half hour south of the airport, kind of on its own little separate island that's connected to the main island of Bali. I think you should check it out if you have a chance. It's what I call Beach Resort Row because all the big name players have a location there for the most part in this area. So they keep the beach pretty well groomed, and you're going to notice that as you travel around Bali. Other local beaches might not be as groomed, except little patches here and there. So I think you should check it out. They have a lot of activities that are included. Oh, holy shit, I made it. So here is where I'm staying. This place I picked. Now up and down behind me over here, this road, it's like this community area in southern Bali. There's a bunch of 5-star resorts. A couple of them are 4-star, but most of them are 5-star, borderline 5-star, because some of them are dated. But they had their 5-star rating probably from a long time ago, and because the property is so big. So look, you're gonna, if you're worried about your family feeling safe, you got guys, they're looking at who's coming in here. I mean, I got one of their bikes so they can obviously see that. And this place is amazing. I just say the payoff here, especially if you get the room for around, I'm gonna say around because it could be like 110, 120. If you get it, I think I paid 106 with a buffet, regular standard room, garden view, and it's great. And so if you could get the room for a family for under 200, like maybe a couple rooms, or you can get the standard room or the garden view or whatever with buffet for 100, 120, you're doing pretty good. Look at shoulder season in Bali or in Thailand or any of that. Just Google the rainy season, and of course all the Western holidays in most of these countries, anywhere, November to January, because Westerners are celebrating the end of the year, they're celebrating Christmas, they're celebrating New Year's with their family. It's gonna be more. So just keep that in mind, just those 3 months. Now, July sometimes, but those other months, because of the different weather changes and patterns in Southeast Asia, it's not like the summer in Southeast Asia is April, May, and June, and it's hot as hell in Thailand, April, May. So I would avoid that unless you want to do the water festival, Songkran. But we're in Indonesia, so we're going to talk about Indonesia. And I think the shoulder season here is going to be March, and then it gets busy again in October. So you see, this is pretty amazing place here. It's a big place. I've already got clips inside, so I don't know what I'm going to show. You see, you're greeted by this amazing garden and waterfall. I'm filming the first part of my resort, and the guy's out here playing instrument he let me play earlier. I might already show this, and I don't know if I filmed the beginning of this resort, so I'm just like, it's an amazing place. I'm gonna walk in here and walk kind of around, and I'm gonna walk back to my room, and then I gotta go to the pool, man. It's like that time of day. There's a bunch of resorts on this road. I already mentioned that probably 5 times, and you just pick one of them. There's a pathway that goes up and down. They all have nice pools. But this is more ancient Balinese garden style, and I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. And it's an amazing place. You can just walk around this place all day sipping a little drink and be happy. So see, you go. So you got the buildings on the right side over here, and they got me over here to the left. Amazing, right? All right, it's hotter than hell. I asked them if I could swim in there, and they said no, but I was joking. But I said, where is that, the pool? And they're like, no, it's behind. Just keep going towards the beach. The beach is right out there, about a couple hundred meters away. But there's nice pathways. And look, they even got a bar over here. The sun's right here. Later on in the evening, this might be a better area to hang out. So let's walk in here and keep going. Nice. Yeah, pretty garden and everything. Walking around this resort, check it out. It's a big resort, a lot of gardens, a couple pools. Name on the screen of the beach, it's Nusa Dua or Doa. And this is, you see where the beach resort right here. But there is several nice resorts, and this is, I'm kind of going to nickname this area is Resort Row, because there's just a bunch of resorts, and because of that, it's like, it seems like the beach is a little bit nicer than some of the other beaches in Bali. But it's a nice place, and it's a place to kind of escape and relax, and it seems like the vibe here is that. And most people stay to themselves in their own little cliques, and so that's a good thing. I've been to resorts where it was like huge tension, and not only that, the resort wasn't big enough for you to move around and kind of be to yourself. And this place, you see how big it is, so that's kind of a takeaway, you know, here is it's big. They've got several restaurants, they got a breakfast buffet, they got a spa, and there's resorts to the right and the left of this place on this pathway. And I'm going to show you the pathway here in a minute. And they have bicycles and sea kayaks and all that. And now the sea kayaks, I think you have to rent, but the bicycle, I think they have them at certain resorts for free. But it says 5-star, but I think 5-star borderlining going to 4 if they don't keep it up. But I think 5 because of this area and because of how big the place is with a garden. But it's dated, and that's the only negative I've seen. Everybody's been really friendly, but this place is dated, and it's the food is a little pricey too, but not bad. It's no more than, you know, American like pub or bar prices. And walk over here, they got bicycles. Here's the bicycle. I'm gonna see if they'll let me see. So it says, you know, bicycles are available exclusively for in-house guests only, which I'm one of those, so that's good for me, right? So you want to look at the website. Don't just go through prices, look at why they have the price. So if you pay more, think about it. Like, look at this. You don't have the availability of lounge chairs, you don't have the staff, and you don't have free bicycles, and you don't have this amazing garden. So you might want to think, okay, so I'm hovering. I try to get rooms between 50 and 75 to be realistic. Anything under 50, you're going to notice a big change, and you're not going to get as many amenities, and the location might be bad. So then you're going to go up to 100. I try to get this room I got for 100, and it is typically, I would say, I was seeing it hover between 125 and 200. All right, if I'm picking up wind, I'm sorry. I'm trying to hear a little ambience of the wind and the birds and stuff. Let's walk down. So you see the kayaks. I don't know they're free. You have to ask, but maybe some resorts include the sea kayaks. That's what I would like to do. Now you see these boats right here. I asked them, and I thought it was fishermen or you could rent them, and they said, well, one lady said you might be able to rent them, but she said it's typically the resort or some guy getting a fee, taking the surfers out to the break. And that's what they said, to go beyond the break, to get them beyond the break. And I think you can see some out there, but it's kind of far, so out in the horizon. I don't know if we can see that. And there's surfers out there. In certain times of day or season, the waves get big in Bali. They're somewhat big. I mean, not like Hawaii or something, but I mean, come on, or Australia or something. I mean, but pretty big. You know, I guess it's okay. You know, the other pool over here is pretty nice. I like to run on the edge of the pool like any young kid, you know. No running. Sorry. Go back to sleep. And this is which I'm dangerous and loud. So this is an entrance to the beach. It actually comes down the public kind of road down here. So I'll mark it on the map. I'll mark it on the map if I can. So if you're not staying at one of these resorts and you want to find this beach, hello. 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 Good so far. Could change any moment though. Probably not. That's so good. I don't know if he works for a community or a resort, but you see this guy in uniform. So there's security around. If you're worried about security, they're trying to make sure there's not a lot of bad people in this area. So that's good. Enjoying the scenery, if you know what I mean. All kinds of scenery. There's another pool. I think, is this the Grand Hyatt? Yeah, here's I was close to picking this because it was another $20 a night, but the resort was really nice. And of course, it's an American company, and I was gonna pick this. And you see, this is more modern style, and I kind of like the pool better. It's kind of interesting, and it keeps it kind of where everybody's in their own little cove kind of thing. And the trees, I like how that one is like right kind of up in your face. But there is two big pools over there where I'm staying, and I regulated by the resorts a little bit, and the community, it's from here on is like the beach, the actual beach, you know. So you can kind of come over here and walk down this path and nobody's going to say nothing to you. You see it says Grand Hyatt right here, and I think it's a good thing. See, they have a show in that picture, so they all have these cultural Balinese shows that you want to do. It's going to be an upcharge probably, but I mean, if you've never done it, I mean, I say do it. It's like going to Hawaii and they have a show and they might have a resort fee or something. All right, let me go up on the beach here and check it out right now. So here's the name of the resort I'm staying, and it's right beside the Grand Hyatt, and I think the Westin is somewhere in the area, and there's a couple others, but it's kind of like Resort Row down in here. All right, let's check out the beachfront. I think it's by far, this is maybe the most calm and nicest beach you're gonna get. I mean, think about it, it's your vacation. If you're not gonna be a backpacker or you're not staying long-term working on the internet or something in Bali, I say go ahead and spend between 100 and 150 or whatever it is a night. But other than that, most of the beaches in this area, you would go 100 feet and there would be pile of trash or plastic bottles or dogs trying to freaking bite you, like up here Sanur Beach or Kuta or whatever, you know what I mean? So this beach right here, I think if you want something that's, you know what I mean, it almost reminds me of Florida, except it's, you know, more Asian culture. I don't think this is natural. So I think a lot of this sand was brought in, but that's fine. But you see how it's flat? This is sort of like a Florida beach, you know, something like that. Bali. And this beach, just pay the money. I mean, I was only here like 8 or 9 days, and I stayed in different places around the island. Now you want to go up to Ubud, whatever it is, up north of here. It's about 2 hours by car and about an hour and a half by motorbike if you drive pretty quick down the road like I do. But can you get in a shuttle van from here? Yeah, they're gonna have tourists, and if you want to pay them, you got a family, you probably want to do that because the traffic sucks really bad here and it's really busy. And I was scared every day, and I still got the motorbike out in the parking lot. Brand new Honda PCX, if you know what that is, a nice, pretty nice motorbike. And it had a few scratches already, but fairly new. And I was worried every day I was going to get into it with someone on the road. All right, well, just like I was saying earlier, if you want to stay on nicer beach, but they do have security and local tourist police. And I said, where's the public beach? Because I'm just here to take a photo. And I told him clear, I don't want to cause a problem, but I am staying next door, and it's 5-star. And there's a little sign on my bike that says where I'm staying. I told him, hey, so then I said, where's the line? I'm going to show you what he told me. I said, there's got to be a public beach. This is not owned by Hyatt. They can't own this public beach that is part of Bali, as far as I know, and it's not private land. This is public beach. It's publicly listed, you know, in probably the government plat. So let me look, and I asked him, and he goes, yeah, that's a good question, you know, and he said, right beyond the lounge chair. So I'm gonna show you right now. So he told me that this lounge chair right here beyond the lounge chairs was not, right beyond here. I had this tree right here, and I said, that's fine. I was just taking a photo really quick. I didn't think it was a problem. And he said, yeah, just go on the beach. So then I came, look, I'm about 15 feet beyond that, and I just drive my bike here because there's nowhere to prop it up. It's sand, it's not gonna hurt it. And he kind of looked at me, and then he acted like he can do it. I said, hey dude, you said to me that this right here is public beach. And then he didn't like it. And I looked at him, I said, dude, you're the one that said, I asked him, where can I go? He said, out on the beach. And I told him I was taking a photo. Then he saw me drop the bike. I looked back at him, and he didn't freaking like that. So, you know, he wants to do something. I can see so bad in his eyes, he want to do fucking something. But he can't do anything. And that's the problem. And the guy looked in his eyes like he could just, like he wanted to kick my ass, Hyatt. I mean, he was nice for a minute, but then when I kind of stood up to him, but I told him, that's fine, I don't want a problem. Just, all I asked him was something legal. Show me where the fucking line is, and then I'll go outside the line. I'm so frustrated, I'm so tired of it, you know? So anyway, and then I dropped my bike, like I do, I said, oh yeah, go ahead. Whatever, I told him I'm leaving soon, just whatever, dude, want to take a photo. But I told him, I did tell him I understood the rule. They want to keep the resort nice. They don't want a bunch of drifters coming around. But then you still have locals coming up on the beach thinking it's their right to conduct business with probably no business license. So you see, it's a double standard. Anyway, that's enough of my vent, because the guy kind of pissed me off, because I mean, I was not there long, and I said hello to one of them walking by. I told him I was just, and the pathway is for everybody. It's kind of a short shared pathway. I want to show you this. There's a shared pathway, I think what they call an easement goes up and down through all these resorts, and I think it's an easement. I think it's an understood thing that you see it goes all the way by, even past the Hyatt. So over here is the Hyatt. Just keep in mind, these lounge chairs are for that particular resort. I was taking a photo and just put my bike against a tree for a second. Guy started asking me, and I told him, hey, look, I'm just taking a photo. I'll move on in a minute. But anyway, just, I don't know how I edited it, but it kind of made me mad because it was on this tree. You see how far, and he saw I was just taking a photo. He saw me out there taking a photo, and I walked up to him. I said, hey, what's going on? He said, the guy came all on the beach. And I said, I'm just taking a few photos. I do like travel vlogs, stuff like that. I'm from the West. And he said, oh, well, you can't leave your bike there. Where are you staying? I told him, down the beach, your neighbors. Okay, well, you staying here? I said, I might. And then he said, well, you can't leave it. I said, well, where can I put it? And he said, right here. So when I came out here and dropped the bike, he actually looked at me and started to walk back toward me like, you can't do that, because he didn't like what I did. I said, dude, I got to put my bike down. I want to take a freaking photo, okay? I want to do a video. It's a nice beach. But I understand they're trying to keep this area kind of segregated. I get it, from turning into some shit. So that's what's happened to a lot. That's the problem with Bali. A lot of places, it's over tourism. All right, so they got this pathway in Canggu. I think the guy told me the name. I don't know. I have to look at the map, and I'll put it up here. I'm in Bali. It seems like it's like a sweet spot, and this right down here is like the different Western type resort. And he said, once you get over here, this guy from Europe was telling me, he's a pretty nice guy from France, and he was telling me, I asked him how long, he said it goes on a couple of kilos, but he said then it gets a little busier, more water sports and stuff. But he said nothing wrong with that. But he said, yeah, this area of Bali is probably better. But I said, well, the takeaway is the rooms are more, but you're going to get more, and you're going to get more privacy and more security. He said, yeah, that's the whole thing. And he agreed with me. So he said, if you want to be with everybody and you want to go venture around the island and do that, but you're going to have mixed type of environment. And I said, well, that's what I'm seeing clearly. Look at this, nice. Hello. But I try to know before you go, straight up logistics and, you know, walking or riding tour videos. So if I make a comment, I might edit it later, who knows, depending on how, you know what I mean? Sometimes I try to tone it down, but at the time, sometimes something off camera, believe it or not, something earlier kind of set me off a little bit. And I told the people, hey, I just was walking by and people were, you know, I don't know, they're overthinking it. I'm surprised my camera hadn't overheated, because this thing, it might glitch, and this camera won't warn me. It'll just start like glitching and freezing up and stuff. I like bicycling, so that's the thing. Bicycling, hiking, waterfall hikes, they got that up in Ubud, Bali, all over Southeast Asia. So I don't know how long I can leave my bike here, so I'm gonna, last time I left my bike, you gotta make sure now, if you're not on an area, this is like an area of a public beach, you see it's a little bit more not groomed, but if you are in a groomed area, like one of these resorts, they might ask you, like, what are you doing and how long, you know what I mean? I tell you leave, basically. I told one guy, I'll take a photo 5 minutes. He goes, no, you have to move your bike. So I moved my bike, and right outside the line, and then I put it down, and he looked at me. I'm like, well, dude, you told me to move it right outside the line on the beach, and then it's a public beach. It's whatever. I just doing what, you know, I was kind of like double talking here. Main part of the beach is over there, and this is like a little park or something, and I will try. Ooh, look, man. It is pretty. The places that are not, you know, too much human presence and not over tourism, which is seem like almost the whole island. But yeah, there are some nice spots like this. Of course, you get coral right there. You want to get on that. It'll cut your hands right up. You better have gloves. This stuff is sharp, man, like a knife. You see this stuff? Some of it's smooth, but a lot of it down there, it's sharp, and there's also shells, so if there's a creature live inside, it's got bacteria, you're gonna get infection pretty fast. Anyway, I'm full of stories and freaking rants, right? I should just do my channel reviews and rants. That's a good one. Try to imagine 150 years ago, somebody first found this, and all right, like some of the islands. But yeah, imagine this back in 100 years ago. How, look at it, little crab in here. Hey, buddy. See him? He's stayed playing dead. Oh, there's another one. All the Southeast Asian type island, you can see this kind of stuff. You don't have to come all the way Bali, but this Bali does have some nice areas, and still, but there is some over tourism. I've probably said that a few times already. I mean, it sticks out in your mind every day, and the traffic's kind of bad, but the people are really nice, and the food and some of the souvenirs are fairly cheap. So, you know, support the local culture if you can. Stay in a nice place, and if you're only going to stay a week or two, and then... All right, I think I'm going to head back to the main path and resort. Yeah, this is called Peninsula Island Park. It's in the Nusa Dua Beach area. This whole area is in South Kuta, Bali. I hope you enjoyed my videos. I'll try to put in the description where I stayed if you're interested in that. There's a lot of amazing resorts on this beachfront right here, so I encourage you to get down there. They're pretty nice. There's a lot of activities going on. It seemed like a pretty clean beach. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. If you want to see some more of our videos, look in the homepage, or you can click on the end screen coming up right now. And remember, don't just watch, plan and go.